Hi everyone, I'm Kiv, and today I'm going to be talking about my theory for Halo Infinite's story. Now, I just want to get this out of the way. I apologize for the thumbnail being slightly clickbaity, but a man's got to get views somehow, I guess. It must just be small channel problems, but it's also going to be easier to understand what I'm thinking about if you have seen my past two videos. So if you haven't, I'll leave a link for those in the description as well. But anyway, I also have mixed in at a couple of points, I guess you could call it a semi-rant about what I would like to see happen at certain points and what they could try to do to make the game a little bit more different and kind of stand out on its own as not only being a spiritual reboot like what they are aiming for, but to also try to improve on certain mechanics and make this kind of game a bit more next level. But that's enough talking. Time to go right into the theory. I think that the game's going to start off with an explosive opening, which is going to just kind of do their very best to wrap up the Halo 5 Guardians timeline. Because if we're still versing Guardians, then I doubt that a lot of people will even buy the game in the first place. So I think it's going to be maybe 2, maybe 3 missions to wrap up that whole timeline of what the Guardians are and do some kind of Forerunner technology bullcrap to just bring Cortana back in with the Chief. I say bullcrap, but I have read the lore a little bit, so I do know that she is a mixture of Forerunner tech and Halsey's DNA as well, so she's not your typical smart AI, and they could just do anything and then call it under the bracket of Forerunner tech. So we'll probably start off with some kind of voiceover from, I guess, like Lasky or something, just explaining how the UNSC Infinity has just been on the run from Cortana and her Forerunner Guardians for a fair bit of time. They're trying to find some way to fight back. Maybe that will be the part where it follows the Shadows of Reach book, which is going to be coming out later this year, and they end up going back to Castle Base, I think it is, trying to search for some way to beat Cortana. And then they could mix in a emotional scene with the Chief where they find some kind of way to beat Cortana. However, there's a risk of it killing her permanently, as they would probably try to find some way to add some drama to it. And then you've got your emotional scene. But after that, they eventually do end up being able to find a way to take her down. It ends up being a very huge battle between all of the remaining UNSC ships and the Guardians. I think this would be a really good time to add in a different kind of gameplay, which is just basically being in control of the UNSC Infinity and just firing off Mac Cannon blasts left, right, and center, just mowing through a whole bunch of enemies. Maybe Guardians, I don't know, if maybe you could put in that there's like a bunch of Guardians and stuff like that, and then it's just all the UNSC forces firing and Archer missiles are going everywhere. You know, you're there captaining the Infinity as Lasky or something like that. I think that would be absolutely awesome to do, and it would add a lot of variety to the missions and actually allow us to do something different while still having a very awesome sort of feeling from the older Halo trilogy, which you just have a really powerful vehicle and you're just mowing through people and it's just a rampage that you go on, and it feels awesome. On a quick side note, Halo 5 Guardians had a couple of missions where you have to just talk to other characters as Locke, and that can't happen. That is not on the table at all, and that should not be a thing. I think this is the point in the story where Atriox should enter the game, because I would like to think that he is a smart tactician from what we've seen in Halo Wars 2, so I would like to see him actually take the initiative and just basically take advantage of the current situation to then steamroll through the rest of the UNSC, who have been really weakened by their battle with Cortana. And, you know, just when you think you've got Cortana back, she's back to normal, you have your triumph, then boom, he enters and the UNSC is getting absolutely demolished. So that's everything the UNSC has, and he's just pulled off his 5,000 IQ moment, and he's set up to be the next main villain of the story. I think this would be great to link in with where the Chief is floating in space and the pilot of the Pelican discovers him and is now trying to get him powered up. And then they are supposedly rescued by the crew from the UNSC Spirit of Fire. Now, this is where my kind of theory is probably going to get really shaky. If I was playing some guesswork before, then I'm just straight up just poking at nothingness right now, because it could go in any direction, really. But what I think could happen is that from this point onwards, you've got the Chief and whatever's left of the UNSC and the Spirit of Fire basically trying to put themselves back together, and at the same time Atriox has now got the advantage, and he has basically discovered, you know, the Halo ring, and is in a position where he's coming up with a strategy to try to use the Halo ring in a different kind of way to just exterminate humanity. And I think that that could be a serious reason why he would, you know, be interested in the rings, and then while trying to basically take advantage of them, he has inadvertently released the Flood. The only reason why I say this is because Gravemind can, and they have been shown to be able to manipulate people from the shadows in the past. And then it's just kind of set up with the Flood being on the loose again. And I guess the game could end there if they wanted it to, but it could also have a similar ending to Halo 1, with the Chief destroying whatever's left of the Flood. And look, I'll be honest, there's a lot of wiggle room for what could happen, and the campaign that I have planned, I guess, is pretty damn long and very and very detailed, with a lot of loose ends kind of being tied up and a lot of twists. I guess that's kind of the story I like. But either way, if you guys have a different kind of idea for what you think would work better for a Halo campaign, then feel free to let me know. There's probably a good to fair chance that I've just completely ignored a very important point to a lot of the Halo story, so feel free to correct me and have a bit of a discussion with me in the comment section down below. I love it, and I'm glad that a lot of you guys have been really interacting with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like I said, if you have a different idea for the Halo Infinite story, let me know in the comment section down below. But that's just about it from me. I've been Kiv, and I'll see yous all on the next one.